are in the home stretch. 2 more presentations, that's it. We're in the home stretch. But this is important. This one is all demos. And yes, let's roll the video. So, if any of you haven't figured out, I'm Sudhir Mata, run product management for this amazing AI-driven enterprise portfolio. It's the best. Thank you. Woo! 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 Let's go. It's the world's best Wi-Fi, the absolute best switching platform in the industry, the amazing session smart routing with SD-WAN, the SASE announcements we just made with CASB, DLP, SWIG, all of it natively built in with a groundbreaking identity platform that is coming out. So we're going to talk about that today. So this is all tied together with the Mist AI engine and the Marvis virtual assistant. And we talked a lot about Marvis today. Marvis is happy. And so this is it. This is the demo session. So we're going to talk about all the things, all of Wi-Fi, switching, SD-WAN, and a sneak peek into identity as well, right here, right now. So let's start. We started with the core principle for us being the notion of user experience. So what did we do? How did we get here? What is user experience? And we wanted to put physics behind this, right? Every user, every minute. Today you heard announcements in the other buildings about, converging clouds and products and stuff like that. But nobody in the industry today can do every user, every minute like the Mist cloud can do, right? That's number one. Number two, as we were talking to network engineers like you, when the company was founded, we were asking the question, what are the top 10 issues in Wi-Fi? Someone said, an engineer from South Africa said, I don't have 10 problems in Wi-Fi. I only have 2 problems in Wi-Fi. So I said, okay, great. What's the problem? What are the 2 problems in Wi-Fi? He said, problem number 1, I can't connect. And the only other problem, he said, is, hey, the Wi-Fi sucks. And that's it. That's it. The only 2 problems. So we said, we want to put physics behind this, right? So we said, if a user is not able to connect, I want to know what is causing this. Is it radius? Is it DHCP? Is it a DNS server or a DHCP server being late? Is it roaming? Is it the Wi-Fi roaming? Is it the quality of the roam, the stability of the roam? Interband roaming? Are clients going from 2.4 gig to 5 gig and flapping all the time? We are able to collect, collate, and curate this data like never before in the industry. This is what got us this far. If you're wondering how the hell Juniper Mist went from being a niche player in the Gartner Magic Quadrant to the leader of the leaders, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is architecture. It's this notion of focusing on user experience, right? And that's where it started. Many of you have seen me do this demo and presentation a few times. But today, it's about the future, looking forward. There is a generational change coming in Wi-Fi. There is Wi-Fi 6E. Brian was talking about this, Brian Searcy from AWS. We have never had this much spectrum thrown at us at Wi-Fi engineers ever before. This is game-changing. I'm proud to tell you the AP45, absolutely hands down, is the industry's best Wi-Fi 6E AP. Of course, I'm paid by Juniper. I have a paycheck from Mist and Juniper, so I have to say that no, hell no. This is the best damn Wi-Fi 6E AP on the planet. Why do we say that? Why do we have such conviction? Why do we make such bold statements? Here's why. It has Mist AI. It has Marvis. Mist AI and Marvis are 8 years in the making, and they're changing the game every step of the way. As John Kilpatrick said, John told me once, it's almost like you're in my brain, making me stop worry about the little things. That's Mist AI. Not only that, it has a game-changing BLE antenna array, .11mc for location, auto-location, all of this kind of stuff. There's lots of Wi-Fi innovation. Tomorrow, there is a deep dive. Wes Purvis, and a whole host of people are doing a deep dive on Wi-Fi. I want you to go to that. But today, I'm going to show you a few things. IoT assurance. This is a real problem. This is a big problem in our industry, in our networks today. The scope and scale of IoT is just absolutely tremendous. So what have we done? We've actually dramatically simplified the provisioning policy and operations of IoT, and we actually are able to now steer traffic for IoT devices. How do we do that? Pre-shared keys. Well, it's not the legacy pre-shared keys. We could create, literally hundreds of thousands of pre-shared keys. You can create them. You can, send them by an email to a user if you want to. You can assign role to pre-shared keys. So the refrigerators or the infusion pumps, the patient monitors can each have their own key and actually be assigned a role and be able to steer traffic to the right VLAN, to the right VRF. Segmentation for IoT, for wireless, has never been done better. This is it. This is awesome, right? Now, we're taking this a whole another level. We partnered with Oxford University, and they said, students come back with the experience and say, to the campus and say, we want a private personal network. I want the experience like I have at home. I want it in my dorm room. So we launched, and we are launching this month. We're going to get self-provisioning of the pre-shared keys. So if I'm a student at any university, I'd basically have my own personal domain to go into, and using my eduroam credentials, my enterprise credentials, I can self-serve and actually get a private pre-shared key. Meaning, I can create a private personal network within enterprise networks. This is awesome. This is actually truly solves a business problem. And how do you use it? Well, you get a QR code and open up the camera on the iPhone and scan it, and boom, you're on the network. It's that simple. This is releasing in June, in the next couple of production pushes. Wes Purvis and team have worked hard on this. So this is, from an IoT scale perspective, pre-shared keys are like ACLs, right? You set it, you never want to remove it because God knows who's using it, right? So now, with IoT assurance, we will show you exactly who's using that key. Slava just self-provisioned himself and got this key, and now I can tell you, aha, Slava is using this key. So if I need to, hey, I want to recycle this key, I want to change the key every 6 months, I know who's using it. I know when I can transition it, right? Who to transition it, how many devices are still left using this old key, right? So self-provisioning is coming, IoT assurance is here. We're stoked about this. This is a game-changing feature, part of the Mist wireless package. Now I want to talk to you about a big part of our portfolio. A huge part of our portfolio in the enterprise space is switching, right? Wired assurance. When we partnered with our customers and we asked them, hey, for Wi-Fi, we have these two problems, we solve those two problems. What do you want us to do on switching? They said, do the exact same thing you did on wireless on switching. Solve user experience. But there are no users on the wired side. We said, no. Customers said, I have IoT devices, I have sensors, I have video cameras, I have all kinds of devices connected on the switch ports. Bring Mist AI to it, right? So AI-driven service levels for wired assurance is here. But it starts with absolutely a market-leading platform, EX4400. The EX4400 actually is just been announced last year. It's grown, it's flown off our shelves like there was no product we've ever introduced. It is an absolutely market-leading access layer switch built cloud natively into the Mist dashboard, right? It's ready, it's here. I know there's a wait time, but it is an awesome switch. What I am announcing today is the QFX 10K. This is our modular core switches. The modular QFX 10K with the 8-port, 10-port, and even the fixed form factor QFX switches for our campus fabric solutions are available now in the Mist cloud. They were not available last Monday. They're available today because Christmas comes every Wednesday at Mist. Right? We have a dynamic architecture for that. So 3 forms of fabric. Mike talked about it. Don't be afraid of the fabric. Let the fabric not fear you, right? So 3 forms: EVPN multi-homing, campus, the CRB form factor, or IP clause. You could do any of these now natively in Mist. But let me show you. how Tom Wilburn, our global VP of sales, can build a fabric right now, right here. It's really this simple. You start here and say, aha, I need to create a fabric. I woke up one day, I need to deploy a store, one of the outdoor retail stores. All I do is I say, I want to do EVP and multi-homing. Okay, click next. I want to pick my core switches, see which switches are in the core, and then I want to pick which switches are in the access layer. Just pick them, add them to this. And now, this core switches can be 10Ks, QFX, full EX portfolio natively in the Mist cloud. Then I have to define a network. What VLANs do I want? And if I'm healthcare, maybe I take this, this particular VLAN and put it on a VRF. Maybe I take it to infusion pumps, patient monitors, whatever it is. Take that VLAN and take it all the way out of my network, segment it easily. Yep, this is the step 3. And then lastly, tell me how the physical ports are connected, right? So here, the core switch 0 and 1 are connected to ports 0 and 1, and it shows you how they're connected. And then tell me how the access ports, the access layer switches, are connected to the core. This is the final step. We've built an EVP and multi-homing fabric, and you've heard Craig, and they're doing this. Brian Searcy at AWS Events is doing this. This is possible. Don't fear the fabric, right? It's here, it's now. Now, I've built the fabric. I want to know how is the fabric working, right? And again, just we'll go back and see that the fabric is live. I just need to know. I click it here and say, aha, are the connections green? It's really that simple. It's not complicated. And the fabric is live. If you're a retailer and you're deploying switching across thousands of retail stores, you're a school district, you're an enterprise, deploying networks where you don't live, this is what you want. This is what you need. But this is good. This is interesting. This is actually not interesting. More than interesting. It's very good. But this is not who we are. We are about user experience. We are about every user, every minute. And that's what we brought to the switching side. We said, what is the questions we want to answer on switching? Is the network healthy? Are the ports able to connect? And is their experience good? That's it. Same 2 questions. The same 2 wireless questions we brought to EX switching, right? And so here is our actual global corporate campus. Our CIO is here, Sharon Mandel. This is the amazing network she runs. 100% of everything is good. She can log into one dashboard and say, not one out of the 50,000 Ethernet ports at Juniper's global network is failing an authentication or a DHCP. How cool is that to know, right? And now I got the port connectivity. Is the experience good? That's it. Only 2 questions. Am I able to connect? Is my experience good? And then if my experience is not good, hey, why is throughput only 97%? It's wired networks, right? What's going on? Let's double click and we go into that and we go down that rabbit hole again. Just like you did wireless. It's that easy. AI-driven switching is here, and it doesn't need boxes and boxes in your data center. It doesn't need DNA. It doesn't need old school clouds. It's here natively, right? So, and then more importantly, one thing we say is, not only do we will tell you the top 10 of any failures, we'll actually tell you the bottom 10, because every user matters. Every user experience matters. And so we are able to collect, collate, and curate, not just, oh, these are the top 10 failures at a site. We can actually tell you the bottom 10, both on wired and wireless. And by the way, newsflash, there's only 2 types of users on your network. I don't care which vertical you are. You only have wireless users and wired users. And we do AI for both of them. And that's it, right? It's sort of mic drop, walk into the sunset, enjoy your family. So this is what Marvis is. This is, again, our global network. I have 11 ports flapping up and down. Marvis is saying, out of 50,000 Ethernet ports, these are the ghosts in our networks. These are the gremlins in our network that we don't know, and they become the CEO's complaint or the CFO's complaint. Out of 50,000 Ethernet ports, Marvis said, these 11 ports are flapping, right? And that's it. That's what you need to know. We just need to get you to the answer. AI is not artificial intelligence. AI is actionable insight, and we just need to get on, solve the problem, and go enjoy family. That's what IT and networks should be, and that's been our mission, right? So now let's ask, and this is something new. We're announcing it literally today. It came out last Thursday. Marvis for wired assurance. Now I can actually troubleshoot a wired user on Marvis as well, natively. And so ask a question and say, this user was connected to that switch, and that switch was having high CPU. That switch was also suffering from some congestion. Whatever it is. Another thing we tell you, if you're new to us, if you're new to the Juniper Mist family, thank you for coming here and spending time. We will tell you Marvis is never wrong. How cool is it for a tool to have that kind of confidence? Marvis will not know all the answers, but Marvis, when it has an answer, is never wrong. That CPU had high CPU. There's no ambiguity about it. There was congestion in that network. There's no ambiguity about it. Now we can actually troubleshoot switches as well. So Marvis for wired networks, available today. For all of our EX customers who have wired assurance enabled, this is live, right? So super cool, wired and wireless. And so, again, the example here is taking specifically a switch, right? There are not too many problems in switching, thankfully, right? Most of you deploy a switch, you set it, you forget it. But when a problem happens on a switch, it takes down the network. A wireless AP failing is localized. A switch, a distribution switch, a core switch failing is disastrous. That's why you need Marvis, right? So super cool. We're stoked about all of this being available. Now the team has worked very, very hard in getting us this far. Now, where is this headed, right? Where are we headed next? We talked about wireless. We talked about switching. Brad Martin at Chick-fil-A, after he got wireless under his belt, I said, Brad, if I sat in your NOC and I listened to the calls coming in, you're a retailer with 2,700 retail stores. What are the top 10 calls? Of the top 10 calls, what are 8 of them? He said SD-WAN. So we said, okay, we're going to go buy a company for this thing, and we'll go find the mist of SD-WAN, right? And so if you imagine each one of these lines to be a session, an experience of a session, we've broken the tunnels down. And we brought AI-driven SD-WAN with session-smart networking, meaning every user, every minute, every session, we're maintaining data now. Imagine that being done on a legacy cloud, a Meraki cloud built 10 years ago, or any other cloud that doesn't have this scale. We're so proud of AI-driven SD-WAN. We're changing the game in SD-WAN. So where does it start? AI-driven service levels. I'm going to show you today WAN assurance for the SD-WAN portfolio. We're super stoked. It's available now. The fourth largest company in the world, Fortune 4, are doing a 10,000 retail store deployment with this. Tom talked about this, right? So we looked at this opportunity, the SD-WAN opportunity, and said, what could we do? We said, okay, well, solve user experience, bring AI to the problem, add Marvis to it, call it done, walk into the sunset. That's what we're doing, right? So, but let me start with something we all have to deal with, is provisioning, is configuration. So I want to start with, how do you actually configure SD-WAN networks? We've made it dead simple, easy, right? Again, these are the networks that are on your branch site. They could be a corporate user, a guest user, an IoT user, a point-of-sale network. And if any of you have used Mist, you love our variability, right? We took one of our retailers, Tom talked about, 29 templates down to 1 template because of those network site variables. And then you define your networks, and then what applications do those networks need to access? Does point-of-sale access only point-of-sale? Does guest access only internet? Corporate users access corporate intranet and internet? All of that, you define your applications, right? So start with networks, define your applications. What do you do next? Just put it together in a template. That's it. It's Mist easy. So what does the template look like? Okay, I have WAN, I have LAN. These are the networks we just looked at. And we say this, again, don't forget the variables there. And then, traffic steering. Some of this traffic, may not have to go to all the way to the data center. Some of it has to go to the public cloud. Some of it has to local breakout. So let's walk through this. This is it. This is the money shot, right? This is where we're putting the entire SD-WAN picture together. Corporate users are going to go to corporate intranet, and they're going to go on Juniper's Secure Edge SASE solution, taking that through our SD-WAN SASE solution combined with our SD-WAN. Okay? My Office, Microsoft 365 users, they local breakout. Don't need to go to my data center, right? Probably don't need to go through my Secure Edge either. Then for my guest users, let's say I want only them to have access to the internet, but no, I want to apply web filtering on that. You can natively do that. Security is not alien to the network. It's integrated to a Mist network. That's what our SD-WAN solution has done. Again, this is cool. This is very important. This dramatically simplifies deployment, but that's not who we are. We are about user experience. Every session, every user, every minute, every session. So WAN assurance, whether you're an SRX customer, whether you're an SSR customer, which is our Session Smart Routing SD-WAN solution, WAN assurance, what were the two questions we're answering? Two questions we've asked and answered. Same thing. Is the WAN link happy and healthy? And is the application experience good? That's it. Same two questions. We have, when we started Mist, the thing that I was telling our team is, we want to be the Apple of the industry, not the Android of the industry. I'm sorry, if any of you are Android fans, we will still sell to you. But we wanted to drive simplicity because people don't have time. IT teams are not growing, they're shrinking. So here, on the WAN assurance, same thing. Is my WAN link happy and healthy? And are my applications doing good? Same two questions for the third technology in a row, right? And so now, across my entire SD-WAN, across my entire branch network, my offices could be around the world. I want to be able to know, is my WAN link, is the WAN edge, actually the router healthy? Is my WAN link happy and healthy? And the applications are doing good. That's it. Not much more to answer in that realm, right? So knowing this across the entire org and being able to react to what is happening real time on these networks is what we have done. So now, let's take an example. Hey, here, the WAN link is actually unhealthy. Makes sense. The application, that's why we won't blame the application. The application was suffering. I won't blame it because I know it's the WAN link that was bad. So let's go look at, okay, what was happening with that WAN link? Aha, my peer path, which is our end-to-end route into my data center, is struggling, but it's specifically this peer path. The second one was having the 70% failure. Knowing that is awesome, right? Being able to know what was causing the failure on the WAN link side. Cradlepoint is in the house. John Ney, thank you for joining us. We're doing a partnership with Cradlepoint. We're bringing LTE data from Cradlepoint. If you're a Cradlepoint customer, Marvis will actually fuse data between Cradlepoint and the Mist cloud and be able to tell you the network is bad because of LTE signal, right? So then, if it was not the network, if not the WAN link, then it's application. Which applications are suffering? Aha, Teams is suffering. If you can do this on Aruba and Cisco, please buy them right now. We're asking Marvis, were there any bad Teams calls in the last 7 days? Literally, across my entire network. Marvis comes and says, aha, Raj is in the room. Raj's MacBook Pro actually had a Teams call issue. Boom. First time in the industry, we are able to connect the dots between the wireless user, to the wireless AP, to the switch, to the SD-WAN router, up into the head-end cloud, up into the application service. This is our mission. When Sujay and Rami talk about we are on a mission to solve client to cloud, this is our mission. This is who we are. We want to solve this without complicating with boxes, without complicating with additional architectures, without you having to choose between solutions, none of that. Just be able to answer questions for a network that you run and you want to get home after this. This is client to cloud in action. Obviously, super simple to do, sounds like it. It took us 3 years to get here. The amount of AI algorithms behind the scenes that went here are absolutely stunning, right? So this is wired, wireless, SD-WAN, and AI for all of them. But in February, we made an interesting announcement. There is Mike Toussaint at Gartner and several others have told us, there's one system you're leaving behind that is in all of our network slabs, all of our customer networks. And that is identity, right? Access control and identity. So we announced an acquisition of a company called Whitesand. So today I'm going to show you progress of there. I'm not announcing a product, but I'm just going to show you progress of what we have done with the Whitesand acquisition, right? And so, first time global demo. So what we're going to do is actually take the policy engine within Mist and create the world's first completely cloud-native access solution that will integrate and essentially to displace the very brittle, very legacy ClearPass and ICE, right? And so what does that look like? So essentially, we take the policy engine in MIST and say, you know what? I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it MIST simple. I want to even, Tom should be able to explain this and deploy this even better, right? So this is how we write policies in the future. So that's a wireless user, right? And he needs to, speak to a corporate VLAN and have a corporate device role. So let's start with, this is the wireless user, and the user is connecting using ETLS, certificate-based authentication, right? So, so essentially, once we have that, and we know the user is connecting with certificates, and I have some of these attributes that I can glean and take and use for the user's identity, that tells me it's a corporate device. Okay, corporate device, put on the corporate VLAN, and give it a corporate role, so other subsystems can consume that role, right? We've operated many a ClearPass and ICE, and I can tell you, getting to this far is a long trek. Now, for BYOD users, they're using ETLS, they're using username password, give them BYOD VLAN, and give them a BYOD role, right? Very simple. Similarly, for the guest users, actually similarly for the wired users, we're doing this for wired and wireless, this solution, right? Wired users, ETLS using .1x, okay, great. Or wired users using MAB, if you still have to live with MAC addresses. I know 100% of you have to, we all have to, there's no choice. But give the printers the printer VLAN. This is it. This is the next generation policy engine that should be, it should be that simple. Right? And cloud native, no more bringing up boxes natively in your networks and all this kind of stuff. So how did we get here? If you're a MIST user, we use labels widely, right? And so this is the magic behind that actual simple stream. Basically, we create a label. It could be a certificate attribute, a user attribute, any of these things, client list, directory attribute, SSID, whatever it is, and then you can give it a appropriate action that you can take. So this is employee VLAN, right? Is VLAN 750. That's it. You create labels for both the resources that you're trying to provide access to and the destinations that they're providing access to, and you put these two things together, you got a scalable, global, highly available, cloud-native authentication system that was built for the modern era, meaning natively integrates with Azure AD and all these cloud-based identity systems and directory services. But why do we do this? What is the problem we're trying to solve? So far, every vendor, when they've built an authentication identity system, what they have done is they've built a separate system. For the first time in the industry, MIST is bringing authentication and this access identity control together into one system. Meaning, there's an authorization failure, great, I have a dynamic packet capture waiting for it, but that's not the end of the story. Why did that authorization fail? And how do we bring that visibility without swivel chairing into the next solution? This is where we natively integrate. Not natively integrate, actually natively built into the MIST cloud. I can say, this NAC authentication failed because the certificate was not validated, the client did not trust the certificate, and whatever it is. Stuff that you used to do in ICE and ClearPass, now native to MIST, without all the hassle of bringing up all those subsystems, right? Another example here, the client provided bad username and password, same thing, natively built. We're not ready for a product yet, but I wanted to show you progress and the vision of where this is headed. And so, this is what we wanted to show today to you in terms of the demos, right? In terms of Wi-Fi, switching, SD-WAN, and identity. What I want to do, it's not my phone, what I want you to do is truly, don't take our word for this. We have conviction. We believe in our bones and blood that this is truly the network of the next decade. It's very hard for all of you to walk away from something you've built, hand-chiseled, over the last 10 years yourselves or with your teams. It's hard to walk away from that. But I'm asking you, do one of two things, and that's it. One of two things. Either, if you've gotten enough inspiration today, I want you to do a proof of concept. 100 out of 100 times, you will find that this is the best network. Most of our customers in the room will tell you this is the best network they have ever deployed in their careers. I'm standing in front of my customers making this statement. I better have the audacity to do that with their permission, right? This is a generational change. It's like going from DVD players to Netflix. It's a generational change. So, if you have the time, if you have the opportunity, if you have the conviction, if you want to share the conviction we have, please do a proof of concept. If you don't have the time, and if you don't want to go down that path, today, between 5:30 and 8:30, all our customers are here. Speak to them. We can't bring you any better salespeople than these men and women that have been with us on this journey. We are on this mission. We are a family company. When Chick-fil-A, November 2019, it was bumpy, as Brad said. It was touch and go if we could actually get that store running. Brad was on his driving for his Thanksgiving holiday, and he called and said, Sudhir, there's some problems, blah, blah, blah. We followed all the way through, make sure Brad got to his family and the network was working. We know what you support. We know who you are. You run the world's most mission-critical networks, so we consider us a part of your team. We are a family. So, partner with us. We would love to be on this journey with you. If you have any more questions, the mics will be open after 5:30, but thank you very much.